This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. Virgin Islands Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has announced the government of the Virgin Islands has signed a fully negotiated and executed lease agreement for the redevelopment of the historic 7.2-acre hotel on the Key property. Under the terms of the agreement with Christiansted Harbor Resort and Marina, LLC, the company will receive a 60-year lease and undertake a two-phased $25 million renovation of the resort, which includes the renovation of the 55 existing hotel units, upgrades to the pool and existing restaurants, construction of 60 additional hotel units, and dock extensions and ferry improvements as well.
So what we're talking about under this agreement now is that the company will receive a 60-year lease and undertake a two-phase $25 million development and renovation of the resorts. For people who don't know, this Protestant Key sits in the center of the Christiansted Harbor. You have to take a ferry over to it. A little hotel over there has been in existence for quite some time. This redevelopment agreement now includes the renovation of the 55 existing units. So the units that are there are going to be renovated in a way and modernized. We're going to upgrade the pools, the restaurant facility, the beach facility is going to have a new dock they're going to put in over there. And with that, they're also going to be adding 60 rooms. So we're going to have 115 rooms now in downtown Christiansted active, because a lot of those rooms at the Key were actually not active. So that's 150 new rooms over at the Key, which is opening tremendous possibilities in terms of the traffic that'll be in downtown Christiansted. The time couldn't be better. We're doing a lot of things. As I'm saying, we just signed an agreement with Royal Caribbean that triples the amount of cruise ship passengers that we have coming into St. Croix. So all of this perfectly complements the sale and development of the Kings Alley Hotel piece that we did earlier. So now Kings Alley and Fort Christian are separated by a lot. They're going to build rooms and connect those two hotels, which is really good because, you know, the smaller hotels have a lot of cost in terms of being able to provide maid service, reservation system. The unification of all these hotels now creates greater synergies and greater buying power in terms of the owners of those hotels. So we're really excited about that, about the finishing of the boardwalk and some other developments that we have going on around that. So this is a big win again for St. Croix.
Governor Bryan has sent the agreement to the legislature for its approval and ratification. A St. Thomas man is arrested in connection with a stabbing at a local club. Monday, Kelly Ubiles turned himself into police. He's facing 2 counts of first-degree assault. Back on last Sunday, October 17th, around 11:50 p.m., police responded to the Crush nightclub for a fight where someone was stabbed. A second stabbing victim took themselves to the hospital for treatment. The investigation led police to the suspect. After disseminating a wanted poster, he turned himself in. Police are still investigating the stabbing case. If you have any information, you are asked to contact VIPD. Living to 100 years old or more is, of course, quite the accomplishment, and local centenarians get some special recognition recently in the VI. The Virgin Islands Department of Human Services Senior Citizens Affairs celebrated VI centenarians with a Centennial Living Treasure Award. 6 Virgin Islanders have reached milestone birthdays over the last several weeks. The award program was established back in 2019 to recognize and honor senior citizens who reside in the Virgin Islands upon attaining their 100th birthday, and to provide some special recognition to them. A way to celebrate their resilience, wisdom, and contributions to the Virgin Islands community. Happy 100th birthday, and even 100 plus for many of these folks in the Virgin Islands. What a great program. COVID-19 cases remain steady in the USVI. There are currently 48 active COVID cases territory-wide, with 38 on St. Croix, 7 currently on St. Thomas, and 3 active cases on St. John. Meantime, new COVID-19 variants are gaining traction around the world, fueling concerns of a winter surge in the U.S. Here's more on what's being called Scrabble variants and whether the updated boosters are expected to protect against them. In the USVI, the Omicron subvariant BA.5 remains the current cause of most reported cases, but nationwide, new COVID-19 variants continue to spread.
There's all these numbers and letters and all that. Peter Hotez calls them the Scrabble variants because they have these unusual letters now.
Health experts say we can expect a surge with the cooler, drier weather that's to come on the mainland. But how big of a jump in cases in the U.S. hinges on these new variants, which lumped together accounted for nearly 1 in 3 new COVID-19 infections last week, according to the latest CDC estimates.
So we'll see by mid-November, for example, do they start to take over and become sort of the dominant strain?
Right now, there's a drop in U.S. COVID-19 cases, but
there's always a lull and sort of a downturn before you see some of these significant surges.
The new variants are offshoots of Omicron, so health experts say the updated booster will provide enough protection against them.
While they are different, they're not different enough to say, hey, look, they're just going to evade immunity.
However, many antibody treatments are based on some of the original strains of the coronavirus.
So if you're someone who counts on getting an antibody treatment, that's probably not going to be as effective against these new strains for that reason.
Health experts say while the new variants are slightly different, these new Omicron offshoots have evolved to share many of the same mutations. So some experts believe that means we've entered a new phase, which will see circulation of several variants at the same time. Florida citrus growers had anticipated their first good crop in several years, but Hurricane Ian laid waste to much of that harvest. Most Florida oranges ended up as juice, and as Christian Benvenides reports, the damage adds up for consumers at grocery store checkouts across the country.
Looking around his orchard, fifth-generation Florida citrus grower Roy Petaway sees dollar signs in the loss column.
We're estimating at least 40% of our crop is on the ground and unusable and unmarketable.
Hurricane Ian drenched Florida citrus groves last month, sending oranges to the ground and causing tree damage growers haven't yet fully assessed.
When we have trees that will all of a sudden rapidly die in the next 6 months to 8 months, those can be attributed then to either water issues, wind issues.
More than 375,000 acres in Florida are devoted to citrus, fueling a nearly $6.7 billion industry in the state. Orange production is already down 32% from the previous season, and preliminary estimates put citrus losses from Ian as high as $304 million. Growers only recently shook the lingering grip of 2017's Hurricane Irma.
This is no doubt a gut punch to an industry that we believe is on the cusp of being able to stabilize and start to rebuild.
Those factors could all put the squeeze to consumers with higher juice prices at the grocery store.
With inflation already so high, I mean, what kind of increases are we talking about here?
I'd say at least 20%.
Patrick Penfield is a professor of supply chain practice at Syracuse University and says the impact on consumers could get even worse.
California is now the #1 producer of oranges. But I would anticipate probably next year is when you're going to start hearing about how they have a shortage also. And that's because they just don't have enough water.
For now, producers will have to rely more heavily on those California oranges and imported citrus from South America. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Hialeah, Florida.
Preliminary estimates from University of Florida economists peg Hurricane Ian's total damage to agriculture as high as $1.56 billion. Also affecting livestock, seasonal vegetable crops, and even hundreds of thousands of bees, which are essential to many growers. So no winners Monday night in the Powerball jackpot, and now the new jackpot is estimated to be $680 million. The next drawing will take place on Wednesday and is considered to be the 7th largest Powerball jackpot. The jackpot was previously won back in August when a ticket in Pennsylvania matched all 5 white balls and the red Powerball to win just over $206 million. Powerball tickets are $2 per play and are sold in 45 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and of course the U.S. Virgin Islands too. Good luck if you play. The airline merger between Spirit and JetBlue is one step closer to reality. Investors at Spirit Airlines have reached a critical agreement, but travel experts aren't necessarily celebrating the latest step, saying the sale could have a major impact on airfare flight prices. Here's a closer look at what this could mean for the airline industry, even if you don't fly these two airlines. Clearing another hurdle to join forces. According to preliminary voting results, a majority of Spirit shareholders have voted in favor of the deal to merge with JetBlue, creating a new airline that could reshape the industry.
If they're no longer in the marketplace, I worry about what impact that's going to have on airfare.
But how could this merger impact you? In a statement, the president and CEO of Spirit called the merger an important step forward to create the most compelling national low-fare challenger to the dominant U.S. carriers. But travel experts are concerned, including Scott Kiais, founder of Scott's Cheap Flights, a website that helps passengers find cheaper fares. He says even if you don't fly those two airlines, fewer competitors vying for your business could lead to higher plane fares overall.
Researchers have studied this, and they found that when Spirit or other budget airlines start flying on a new route, fares across the board drop by about 20%.
JetBlue says it plans several changes, including reconfiguring Spirit planes to add first-class seating. JetBlue beat out an earlier offer to buy Spirit from Frontier Airlines, with both aiming to buy the budget airline to create a more viable competitor to the other four dominant carriers. The deal still faces strong antitrust scrutiny from the Justice Department, especially if they see the consolidation as harmful to consumers. We'll keep you posted. Once all the votes are confirmed, they will be filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The transaction's expected to be fully confirmed sometime in 2024.